Well, welcome to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars related news, conversation, fashion accessory tips, and insights. No, we tend to not do that. I don't think anybody. Well, I mean, I say that, and I see what Nick is wearing here. Nick, tell us a little bit about what you're. This is the first time we've ever done a tell us what you're wearing here on.
That's right.
On
We don't do a lot of fits on the show, as the kids would say. But I am proud to be rocking, and I debuted it last night at the minor league baseball game here where I live. This is my watermelon shirt. If you can see, we have our good friend Watto the Toydarian, the watermelon background. This is an exclusive Holly Fry design. Holly designed this shirt, and I commented on it and texted her when I saw she made it, and I told her how brilliant I thought it was. And she sent me one, and I'm pumped about it. So I wore it to the baseball game last night. I'm wearing it tonight. We have a Hawaiian luau something at work tomorrow, so I'm going to wear it for that. Like, it's just, this shirt is getting all the attention it deserves. But this is a Holly Fry special. Roosevelt's is cool and all, but you're not anything until you've got a Holly Fry watermelon shirt in your arsenal.
No kidding. It's awesome. I'm about to I'm gonna send her a message and say, where the hell is mine?
What about me?
So we are the Star Wars fandom right now is a bit of a I think the scientific term is clusterfuck, but I'm not sure where that sets but it's been crazy. So we want to have, as we always do, we want to have a little bit of fun. And so tonight we are going to be doing a couple different things. We're going to go over the news as we always do, and we are going to go a little bit into the Acolyte after our special segment tonight. And tonight we are going to be joined by not only Arda Öcal from ESPN's official Star Wars podcast, but we also have Jordan Wilson with us, and we're going to have some fun with a little bit of Star Wars Jeopardy. But before we get to that, Nick, want to do a little housekeeping, and then why don't you hit us with a toast? Because God knows, after this week,
we all need a toast or 12. But yeah, housekeeping is pretty straightforward around here. We don't stray too far off the beaten path. The best thing you can do is go to the sswnetwork.com. From there, you will find all of our social medias. Buyer beware, enter at your own risk. We're trying to keep it light. We're trying to have fun. We're trying to bring, positivity and love of Star Wars to the social media areas that we are in. But you can also find out about our Patreon program. We have a great group of patrons. We'd love for you to join and be a part of that for as little as $3 a month. You can be in on interviews for Around the Galaxy podcast. You can get swag. We're doing meetups along the way, call-ins. We did call-ins last week for Pete's birthday. We'd love to have your support. We'd love to have you be a part of that. And we have merchandise. We have all kinds of silly t-shirts. There is, and dare I say it out loud because it'll get clipped and used for something inappropriate. But we have an I Love Jizz t-shirt. And we also have, it's the music style. Everybody knows that. We're Star Wars fans.
Come on.
And we have stickers and mugs and flags and you name it. Our silly designs that we come up with, that's where those live. We'd love for you to rock some SSW Network gear wherever you go. It won't be quite as cool as a watermelon shirt, but you're going to get in the neighborhood. So
right. I'm thinking about adding the marked safe from being unfollowed by Wikipedia shirt, but we have to figure out if we want to go down.
We may have to decide if that's worth venturing into. Probably not, but that's okay.
Probably not.
It's fun. It's fun on its own level. But yeah, check out the sswnetwork.com, your one-stop shop for all the things that we do, everything that we have going on. So that does it for housekeeping. As you said, we do want to do a toast tonight. This is something we brought back several weeks ago, one of my favorite parts of the show, highlighting a person, an organization, a thing in Star Wars, whatever it is, that means a lot to us, means a lot to a lot of the folks that hang out with us and watch us. So tonight, we are going to raise our toast, and we're going to raise our glass to our good friend, Ash Crossan.
Yes.
Many of you know Ash as the reporter at Entertainment Tonight. She posted on social media earlier today that she was one of the casualties of some of the cuts that Entertainment Tonight is doing. So her situation is going to be changing. I have no doubt that she is going to end up somewhere awesome because she's a phenomenal interviewer. And what makes her such a good interviewer, especially in the spaces that she's usually in, is that she's a fan. She's a huge Star Wars fan. Yep. She has a Star Wars lightsaber tattoo on her finger. Like, she's just one of us. And we've both had amazing experiences hanging out with her at Celebration, being on shows with us and all that. So Tonight, I want to raise.
We've offered her a job here, but we don't pay, so that's
we're not really probably the right landing spot for her. We'd love to have her, but probably not going to work out. So tonight, I want to raise our glass to our good friend Ash Crossan. Thank you for being one of us out there interviewing all of our favorites, and we're sending good thoughts your way because we know you're going to end up somewhere awesome, and we can't wait to see it. So cheers and happy Star Wars.
Cheers. I don't know what's shot glass, so. I'm going old school Western.
That's right. It's like the old West over there.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's also a little bit of news. So why don't we hit the news so that we can jump straight into our game in just a couple minutes. But let's hit the news.
Well, right. Pete, first up in our news tonight, we have new Star Wars animation on the way. Following the recent culmination of The Bad Batch and Tales of the Empire, the Lucasfilm animation slate is conspicuously empty. However, hope is on the horizon with the posting of a new job requisition for a production coordinator at Lucasfilm Animation in San Francisco, as was noted by comicbasics.com. The core job description reads, the shot production coordinator will be responsible for assisting the associate production managers to create and maintain the animation and lighting department records and processes from pre-production through post-production on an animated television series. Key phrase right there. This new hire will be working on an upcoming animation project at Lucasfilm, which has sparked excitement among fans, including myself. With the studio's history of beloved animated series, the anticipation for the next project is high. The addition of this coordinator indicates that Lucasfilm is gearing up for something significant, ensuring meticulous management of animation production from start to finish. Fans like us are eagerly awaiting further announcements about what this new series is. Obviously, Pete, we have no idea. This is just a job posting that's on the Lucasfilm animation website. You can go find it. So we don't have a lot more to get into. So this brings us to one of our favorite things to do, especially when it comes to news, is wild speculation. So I am asking you the question, you are creating the next Lucasfilm animated TV series. What are you making, Pete Fletzer?
Wow. I mean, there's a couple things, and I know you and I have very similar thoughts on this, but and so I hope I'm not stealing your thunder on this one, but what I would love to see is an animated version of the original trilogy in the same style as Clone Wars, and you know what? Give me a series of the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, so that you can watch it all in that style, if you like, and use. I'd say use new voice actors so that you can expand the story a little bit. You know, Chris Ryans had said a while ago, you know, how would the stories be different if we went with what we already know from Clone Wars and Rebels and all the pieces of those puzzles. I think it would be really interesting. Again, don't change the stories. Give us the same story beats for New Hope, Empire, and Jedi. But don't be afraid to throw an Ahsoka comment perhaps in there somewhere, or something along those lines. That's what I would do. It would also, of course, be just an open season for fandom to go nuts on. But I think it would be a very cool concept.
So essentially, what I hear you pitching is basically like Star Wars: The Original Trilogy, the special edition animated version. Add in the extra scenes. Add in, you know, the things right around, you know, if the camera widened out a little bit more, what are the two things on either side over there? And you're right. I'm not that far off from you, unsurprising, but my suggestion was going to be in also the style of the Clone Wars, which I did not initially love, but as it has developed,
it's become the Star Wars style, right?
You know, Bad Batch and late season Clone Wars. Like, I really do love that style. And what I wanted to see was continuation of the story after Return of the Jedi in that style.
Okay.
Same thing. Bring in new voice actors, make it new stories, tell some of the things that we've only gotten in comic books, tell some more of the adventures of what are they doing? What's going on with Han and Leia having baby Ben, and what's going on there? Right. What are the things that Luke is encountering along the way? So expand in between. Do the same thing, but do it between Empire and Jedi. You know, use some of those spaces to tell OT stories that we all know we love, either from the books or, you know, new versions of those stories in that style. I think that would be a can't miss.
That would be great. And there is so much stuff in the comics, or so I understand. I mean, I don't read them. So,
So I've heard.
but apparently there's some pretty good stories there. So, and that might be a better way to go, just because it's not going to step on any toes. But I love both concepts.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the only news we got this week. We also learned the names of some characters from the Skeleton Crew as more details leak. And I got to be honest, Nick, I don't know if this is a new way of Lucasfilm going about promoting different series or different content, because this is becoming sort of a normal thing. But it took another merchandise leak, but we have more news on Skeleton Crew. A couple of months ago, the faces of the young cast leaked on a merch box, and now a Lego leak has revealed all the names of the main protagonists in Skeleton Crew, including Jude Law's character and the name of their ship. The Lego set is set to be available before a trailer has even been released of the series. The social media website Falcon Bricks, or the social media handle Falcon Bricks, says that we now know the name of the protagonist ship in Skeleton Crew. It's called the Onyx Cinder, which is a classic, cool Star Wars name. Jude Law's character appears to be named Jod or Jog. It was hard to read based on the image's quality. And the three human children seem to be named Wim, Fern, and KB. The Ortolan child, or thank goodness Jordan's listening, he can correct me on that, is named Neil. That's the Max Rebo species dude, as well as was revealed by the actor during Star Wars Celebration. The interesting thing is this Lego set is scheduled to be released on August 1st, and it's going to be priced at $129. Nick, any thoughts on this? I don't think it's hitting August 1st, but that's just me.
I mean, from a toy standpoint, this is always going to happen. There's always going to be, a toy leak, a Lego leak. Lego has kind of become the consistent, channel for this over the last few years. And I'm not entirely sure that it's an accident. I mean, this is something that could be controlled, but these are images, marketing images that are going out on Amazon pre-order sites and, Entertainment Earth pre-order sites. Like, it's not like somebody snuck that out and, took a picture of it in their car and piped it up into the internet. These are, legit images that are getting out there. So there's a little bit of awareness of what's going on. I don't think it hurts either. It creates some discussion, especially when we're in an in-between where we're going, when does that trailer get here? When do we get to learn, more concrete details about the show? Unless you were at Celebration in London last year, or unless you, have gotten a little bit of inside information that's out there. So it doesn't bother me that much. I mean, it's not as egregious as, Qui-Gon's Noble End on the soundtrack for, Phantom Menace. These are names of characters. And, if we see, if they put out the next image in the back of the Lego box has a picture of, Thrawn holding Luke Skywalker's head as a Lego figure, we might be concerned about that. But otherwise, I don't think this is that big of a deal.
And I mean, if you think back to like when we were younger, when the original trilogy came out, the book came out ahead of the movie. The comic book came out ahead of the movie. Of course, very different times, but not terribly surprising also, especially because Skeleton Crew, from what I gather, has been done and in the can for at least 3 months. And it's just been wild that there's been not much news about the show. Again, I think clearly they're focusing on Acolyte, as they should. They should focus on the latest, but it's an interesting way to get that information, and it makes me realize what kind of a miracle it was that nobody knew about Baby Yoda before The Mandalorian, right? So
it's you're right. We had books, we had comics, we had those stories that came out before the movies when we were kids, but we didn't have the internet where as soon as somebody read it, we could turn around and scream it out to the world. I can't believe they killed so-and-so. You had to know somebody else who happened to read the book, and then you just got to talk between the two of you. Holy shit, I can't believe they killed so-and-so.
Right. Yep, absolutely. So it's a different world, but I think, and look, Skeleton Crew is aimed at kids, and so maybe it really is coming out in August 1st. Maybe it is trying to get my 11-year-old son to start playing with Skeleton Crew stuff before it comes out, so that he's ready and excited about the show. Who the hell knows? I'm excited about it. I can't say wait. And KG, yes, somebody did say trivia. So we are going to take our first short break of the night. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by the host of not only the NHL on ESPN, but the official ESPN Star Wars podcast, Never Tell Me the Odds, Mr. Arda Öcal. And Nick and I are going to put some wager down on our, including our Star Wars fan card is on the line here as we play a little bit of Star Wars trivia. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be playing Star Wars trivia. Well, look at us here on the screen. Arda Öcal is reading quite possibly one of the best publications ever created in the
Sorry, boys, just a little tied up at the moment. Just give me a second here. I don't think this is yours, though. Like, no, I'm looking for your name in the masthead, and I don't see it.
I'm not in that one. I am not in that one. I would have been
How could I go on eBay and like plan this whole thing where I try and find the right Star Wars Galaxy magazines and get the wrong one? This is from Winter '96, by the way. Nice cover, though. Nice cover with Boba.
I mean, Boba on the cover. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Right? So, hey, look who that is. It's Arda Öcal. Arda, thank you for coming back and hanging out with us. Now that the playoffs are over, I see the beards coming in. You got a little bit of, you're in slight vacation. Well, you just came off vacation mode. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm the opposite of hockey players. They have playoff beards. I have off-season beards. Any opportunity I can take to not shave, I absolutely will. I love being on the show with you guys. You guys rock. Love the show and love being on the show. I do have a gripe, though. I did hear the apropos awesome cheers to Ash Cross, and I'm not getting paid for this. I was under the assumption that there would be some sort of fee, at least some Star Wars Galaxy magazines or something.
Oh, I've got some stuff for you, Arda. When we get together soon, I got some stuff for you. I'm
can make that happen.
But I got to show you something though, because I just watched and I encourage everybody to watch the video that you just launched about the NHL Midway
Open Ice,
Open Ice.
Thanks for that,
Arda. I was going through some stuff and I found this NHL 94 with the cartridge and the instructions in it in my basement. Take a guess at what the price was that I paid for it. See if you remember.
Today or back in the day?
Back in the day. No, this was from back in the day.
$70, $69.99, $79.99,
$14.99.
What?
Yes.
What a steal!
Yes.
What a steal! Come on.
And
look at you.
The date on it is 4/22/95. So it was
wow.
So it might have been that it was last year's version. I might have bought it before the 95. But either way,
cool.
This is
so that's the gold standard. So like the documentary that we just launched is about basically the NHL's version of NBA Jam. Any video game fans watching right now certainly have a fond memory of NBA Jam, one of the best sports games of all time. And then once that became so successful, it made like $1 billion in quarters in its first year in arcades. Midway, the company basically said, well, why don't we just do this for every sport? And so the documentary is essentially the story of how the NHL's version came about. So, and
it's great. And it's a lot of, and it brings back a lot of memories. If you're, if you were alive in the 90s, there's a lot of really cool things in there that bring it back. So that was very cool. So Arda, I'm going to bring in our friend Jordan. Jordan's down there. Hi, Jordan. How are you?
Hey guys, Arda, how's it going?
Jordan, what's up, man? What's going on?
We've made some very fun things. Full disclosure, Pete and Nick had like a full plan for trivia. They had a full layout and everything, and we just threw it right out the window.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
I want to be clear. I will gladly take the blame on that because there was a group chat on Discord that Jordan put me into, and I just suggested, hey, what about Jeopardy? And then that just took on a life of its own.
There is no blame.
If anyone is concerned or upset, full trolling my way, no problem.
Oh, no,
I'm fine.
I think we're good.
So Steve here already has 100 points. We can't have that.
No, I should start with 100 points because my fan card is on the line, and there's a reason why I don't go on the trivia shows. Number one, they won't have me, but number two is it's not my area.
And it might be important to set up right here at the beginning. We've talked about it on social media a good bit, and we've talked about it off and on over the last several weeks. It might be worth setting up what exactly is at stake here, and part of what drove this whole thing. I'm a huge baseball fan, Pete. I mean, I'm a sports fan overall, but baseball is my number one love, and I'm a huge Atlanta Braves fan. And Pete is a Philadelphia Phillies fan, as noted by the ugly hat that he's wearing right now.
Beautiful.
And in fact, I thought I was gonna need a dry erase board tonight, so I went ahead and got mine ready just in case anybody needed to be prepared. So I don't need that, but I still had it and felt like it was important to show. So we made a bet at the beginning of the season, and we said, when baseball season ends, whichever team finishes ahead of the other, the game differential is going to be worth $2 per game. Towards the loser has to buy a Star Wars collectible for the winner. So, like right now, today, at the moment, the Phillies are up 8.5 games on the Braves.
It's 9 games because they just beat the Dodgers.
9 games. So, for those of us that do math, 2 times 9 is 18, even in Alabama. And so I would be at $18 if the season ends today. I'd have to buy Pete an $18 Star Wars collectible because I lost the bet. Obviously, baseball season is a long season. We're coming up on the All-Star break. There's plenty of time for the Braves to do what they do best, which is surge in the second half. So I'm not sweating that at that point, but we decided with trivia to add some point differentials, let the winner get some bonus points added on. So that's going to be a part of it, and that's going to factor into what the number and the total is at the end of the season. But I also have, because no good, trivia or bet or whatever exists without some sort of dumb, silly trophy. So because my wife ordered some nonsense off of Temu recently, and it gave the little code for like, hey, you can get something for free.
We're going to get canceled now because
I ended up with a Death Star pocket watch.
Okay. Oh, that is fantastic.
And when you open it up, it's got the Millennium Falcon. It's got a teeny tiny clock at the top, and it's a music box, like old school music box. Crank it up. So this is now the official SSW Network trophy, and the winner is going to get to possess this until we do this again next year because we're fools and we like making each other look like idiots.
How did me and Arda get in on these prizes? Because I could go for a Star Wars pocket watch.
Yeah, no, me too. The first thing I want to say though, is, Jordan, you and I grew up close to each other in Canada. Were you a Blue Jays fan growing up?
That's it. Shut it down.
The times that I have been into sports, yep. I'm not a sports guy, but I'm always going to be go Leafs go.
Okay, good. So Blue Jays included in that. What teams were you guys a fan of again? Sorry, it was Braves and Phillies.
I'm sorry. Yes, why did we ask him to do this again?
Okay, just wanted to be clear on that. And then we were talking about
Toronto.
the 90s.
Listen, you got a
the World
sportscaster here to
Series.
host this.
Periodically.
Periodically,
I just have to shake my fist at the sky and scream Joe Carter's name.
I do think the Phillies have won though since the Blue Jays, but I could be wrong.
That's true. That is
honestly, Arda, I'm genuinely surprised at how many people in this kind of like online circle are from our neck of the woods because that's like middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, I'm a little bit more like closer
you're a
to
little
Toronto,
closer, but I'm kind of just way up in the boonies.
But like hour or two out where you're like in the sticks and you're surrounded by trees. It's a nice life though. It's a nice life. Air is clean. You can see the stars. You can feel the crisp air on your face. It's it gets like hoth sometimes, but you bear it.
Just a little, especially in my house.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we kick this off? Arda or Jordan, you want to tell us how we're going to play this?
All right. I'll give him the rundown, then Arda can take on the questions. So, like I said, we threw Pete's format out the window, not because we wanted to, but because we actually forgot that he had a plan for this. And we decided to go with the full-on Jeopardy
story of my
style.
life. That's good.
So we've set it up with 5 categories, each with scaling difficulty. So 100 is with Jeopardy. The 100 is the easy one. The 500 is the you're probably not going to get this one.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Do we have to
categories
answer?
are,
Okay.
Yes, you do have to answer in the same style of Jeopardy.
Nice.
Okay.
So you have to answer with what is and the answer.
Okay.
Your options are prequel trilogy, original trilogy, sequel trilogy, TV shows, and everyone's favorite, the holiday special.
Nice.
Which, as you both noted, you both are pretty familiar with the holiday special. So I'm going to be kind of disappointed if you get all of them.
I'll be surprised if I get any of them, to be honest with you. So, and on the line, we have our fan cards on the screen because we're pushing them in as part of this wager, and we'll see how this goes. How do we decide who goes first? I'm going to since the Braves are 9 games behind the Phillies, I'm going to defer to Nick and let him choose first. And so we're going to our buzzers are our lightsabers.
So we're going full Jeopardy style. So this is like here. Okay. So am I the one that's going to choose? So I gotta really
Alex
Trebek, Ken Jennings. I gotta really be on the ball here.
But the nice thing is you have a fellow Canadian in the lower right hand corner, so you can always say, "I need a little help here." So
all right, very good. Okay.
And Jordan, you're keeping score down at the bottom, right?
There we go. I will keep score until
Jordan's got the score. Okay.
And you lose points if you get it wrong, right? You get the whole Jeopardy.
And it lets you go into the negative. So, Pete, you're at negative 500.
No,
already.
I will be, but.
All right. So I get to select first. Is that what I understand?
All right. Let the games begin. So lots at stake here. We're going to put your Star Wars trivia to the test.
Well,
and more than just the Star Wars merchandise, this will be bragging rights for 100%. Months to come. So
the thing that actually matters.
Yeah. So literally, may the Force be with you, because you don't want to be on the losing end of this.
Perfect. Well,
no pressure.
If you lose this, we're gonna heckle you for the next 6 months.
I'm sure. We
love you.
Accurate.
And deservedly so. Well, in that case, I'm going to jump right into the almost deep end. Let's go with original trilogy for 400, please.
Oh my gosh! Wow,
400. Wicket Warwick's middle name.
Do we want to make this even more fun and tell them they have to use a whiteboard and spell out the answer?
Oh no!
Come on, that's a little.
All right, we won't be that cruel.
Should I do now? If they both don't chime in, should I do the Jeopardy like pop 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 and then just like chime in with the answer?
I think so. I know what letter it starts with.
I do too, but I don't know I don't know the rest.
And I'm not willing to risk 400 points.
Do we have that countdown here also?
Oh, sorry. You know what? I should ask one thing. Is this if they get it wrong, they lose the points?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
It is. Oh, yeah. Choose. Oh,
remember, you have
starting letter is not enough. Starting letter is not enough.
Nope. Yep. I don't have it. I know the letter, but I don't have enough to answer.
Here, look. I'm in a giving mood. We're starting off. It rhymes with mystery.
Kind of, yeah. Kind of does.
A little bit.
Not getting it. Wow.
All right. Time's up. Reveal.
Wistry.
There it is.
Wistry. Wow.
So,
I knew it was
Nick?
W.
Wistry.
I did.
I
also
W. You guys had
W.
W. I imagine you had W.
So does Nick lose 400 points?
Nick is
no, because I didn't answer.
400.
You didn't answer. Did Nick answer?
I did not answer.
He didn't chime in. He didn't chime in, so it wouldn't have counted. If he got it right, it wouldn't have counted. We should put him at 0, just to be fair.
Yeah. In real Jeopardy, if you pick the category, but if you don't answer, you don't lose points.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Nick, you're still up.
Let's go holiday special 200.
Ooh, okay. Here we go.
Ooh, starting off with a bang here.
This much loved actress portrayed Akmina in the holiday special. That was Pete.
That would be I can't think of her name.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
It's damn it. It's Maud.
Out. Nick. Steal.
I was
Nick can steal. Or
there.
actually, we should wait. So if the answer, okay, well that one we'll just make it.
I'll be honest, I actually didn't mean to hit the space bar there. I wasn't
okay.
let Nick have a shot at it.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Sorry, Pete, you're negative 200 now.
Pete.
I know.
Right. All right. Actually, I actually don't know the Jeopardy rule here. Is it still Nick that chooses?
It is.
It is Nick. All right.
Is it still Nick?
Nick's on the board.
despite our format being thrown out the window, this works for me because one of my life goals is to actually be on Jeopardy. So this may be as close as I ever get.
If we hadn't set this up at like 4 a.m, I was going to try and like tie in some actual Jeopardy music to like do.
That's all right. I like it. Let's go.
Like the Force remix or something.
I feel like I need some points. Let's go original trilogy for 100.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I think you can do this one.
Okay.
Luke Skywalker lives on this planet in A New Hope. Nick.
I'm sorry. What is Tatooine?
That is correct.
All right.
That is correct. 100 points. All right. Just a reminder. You have to wait until I finish reading the question.
Yes.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to let it slide for that one.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Arda.
Sorry. I'm going to be watching, okay? So
little eager here.
And I'm going to be strict about it. Jordan's got my back all the way in Hockley Valley.
Canadians
right?
got to stick together here.
Yeah, all the way out.
Let's go original trilogy 500.
Oh,
original trilogy 500. The answer / question is
which was the one name?
500.
Original trilogy 500.
Original trilogy 500.
Original trilogy 500.
The phrase Darth Vader said when he told Luke he was his father. Nick.
What is I am your father.
That is correct.
Congratulations.
One of the most misquoted movie lines in history. Well done.
I really thought that was going to throw him off.
That is excellent. Nick, you are leading by 800.
Let's go prequel trilogy 200.
Prequel trilogy for 200. The color of Obi-Wan's first lightsaber. Pete.
What is green?
Green is incorrect. Nick, would you like to steal?
Blue.
Blue is correct.
I was going to say blue, but then I thought that's too obvious, but then it was wrong. Whatever.
I was playing the numbers game. I was like, he's wrong. I know what it is.
I am getting my ass handed to me.
Nick is in the driver's seat, feeling confident right now. You're still on the board, my friend.
Outstanding. Let's go prequel trilogy 300.
Prequel trilogy for 300. This creature attacked Padme in Attack of the Clones in her apartment.
I don't know what it's called.
I don't have
Often
it.
hired by, what is it, mercenaries and hitmen. Yep.
Nope.
And I don't want to be too much that guy, but the Phillies are up on the Braves 9 games, and I didn't get my 200 points from that last question. Just saying.
Oh, you didn't?
I should
we should give him the
800.
200 points. Oh,
you guys are getting a shout out also. Jace, my lovely girlfriend who helped me set this up at 4 a.m, says, yes, I knew someone would trip up on that. So we got him, love.
Yep.
All right. So you should be at 800, Nick?
I should be at 800.
Yeah, he should be at 800. Jordan, let's reveal the answer. And if you want to have a stab at the pronunciation, the Kuhan.
That would be Kuhan. Honestly, I've kind of always done it as like Kohun, which is like definitely not wrong or not right.
Perfect.
Nick, you're still up. Nick might have a chance to basically choose the entire board at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not getting anywhere.
You know what, Pete? I got faith in you, Pete. You can do this.
I know I can.
Let's go sequel trilogy for 300.
Sequel trilogy for 300. Here's what we got. The civilian fleet that showed up at the end of Rise of Skywalker was called this.
Did I see that movie?
I feel like I know this one, you know?
There was a name for that fleet? Yeah, no.
Even if you were to take a guess, it would be a good guess. It's like a very simple name.
I'm sure it's
not. I
like
this one in the comments. Just people. The just people.
Yeah, I would say that was the only answer I had.
The homies have arrived.
The homies have arrived.
So
I got nothing.
Homies.
Nope, I got nothing.
All right, the answer is the Galaxy Fleet.
Oh, there you
Galaxy.
Very easy.
The Around the Galaxy Fleet. We should.
All I had was
I thought I was trying to give you a hint there, Pete, but unfortunately, yep, you're still.
I'm down by 1,000 points. I don't know if there's enough points on the board.
No, you're down by what, 400?
All right, let's go sequel trilogy 200, please.
Sequel trilogy for 200. In Star Wars The Last Jedi, this Resistance pilot leads a daring mission to cripple the First Order's dreadnought, the Fulminatrix. Nick.
Who is Poe Dameron?
That is correct. Pete once again tripping himself up. He was so ready.
I was
He was
I need to pick
early
something on
ring
the
in.
board, and he just like boom out of nowhere.
I don't have a shot in hell here. All right.
Yes.
For the record,
all right.
if this happened on Jeopardy, the late great Alex Trebek would have some one-liner for you right at this second.
Right.
He'd burn you. One of my favorite clips that pops up every now and then is the episode where the entire category was football and nobody on the panel gets a single question right, and they just look at him with blank faces. And Alex was a huge sports fan, so he was just like, seriously, like, nobody knows fair catch, and like he's basically burning them sarcastically because they don't know football. Let's go TV shows 200, please.
TV shows 200. Here's what you got. General Kenobi. General Grievous first appeared in this show. Pete.
What is the original Clone Wars animated series?
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
All
Pete
right.
on the board. W in the chat.
Look at that.
Pete has done it.
I finally,
gets to
He is
pick.
but
not
I'm
shut
still in
out.
negative points.
It's all right. You got this. You can play
He
this.
is not shut out.
All right. I'm not-
Chat's gonna light up in a second for you. Let me tell you.
oh
People
my
are like,
gosh.
"Dang that!" Like KG is like, "Dang that lightsaber."
All right. I'm gonna go holiday special for 100.
Holiday special for 100. What holiday were Han and Chewbacca heading to Kashyyyk to celebrate? Oh, Pete barely edged out there. Pete.
What is Life Day?
Life Day is correct.
Correct.
Life Day is correct.
This is Pete's redemption arc.
I maintain, just total side note, if the first 10 minutes of the holiday special had subtitles, I think it would have been way more palatable.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have
10
lost
minutes
people
of
as quickly.
Sherwook doesn't get it done.
I'm going to admit that I have never actually made it through the holiday special. I made it about 25 minutes in. And I'm just like, I just can't.
I'm
can't.
serious. Watch the
documentary.
Disturbance in the Forest documentary. You don't need to watch the show,
Oh,
but
it's
you'll
so
get
good.
all the stuff
It's
you need.
fantastic.
Agreed. Yes.
It's
Yes,
on my
definitely.
list.
Jordan, it's awesome.
Yep.
All right, that's
It's
on my
awesome.
list now. Somebody remind me of that later.
I'll text you
100%.
later. Let me go with TV shows for 400.
TV shows for 400. Here's what we got. Cassian Andor was assigned to this table at the Narkina 5 prison.
Come on, Nick. You got a lot of points. Take a guess.
Nick, you can afford to get this wrong and still be in the lead.
Yeah, I don't know if those odds work in my favor ultimately.
5 seconds.
I got nothing. I have a guess, but not one I'm willing to use.
Bam. All right, time's up. The answer was in the question table.
Okay,
5.
I was going to say 6. So
I was going to say 4, so it wouldn't have gotten there either.
Of course.
KG got it right in the chat. Well done, KG.
Nice.
All right, I'm
KG,
going to
you're
go.
now on the board.
KG's on the board, and KG has more points than Pete, so we're good. We got a run in like a Money in the Bank briefcase. We got a nice run in happening here.
All right, just for fun, let's go holiday special 300.
Holiday special for 300. This bounty hunter first appeared in the holiday special. Nick.
Who is Boba Fett?
Correct. Boba Fett, cartoon form.
That one was simply a race to the lightsaber
Now,
trigger.
Jordan, correct me. You, well, the three of you really, as the historians who know a lot more than I do, wasn't Boba Fett in a parade?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like before everything? Like it was just sort of like, here are all the characters, and then here's Boba Fett in this parade in California, and it was like,
Correct.
who's this dude?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
exactly
He
right.
was basically the Constable Zuvio of the original trilogy, right? It's like, yeah, here's this guy. You've never heard of him, but here he is.
That's so crazy.
It's great.
I love that.
All right,
That's
let's
awesome.
go original trilogy 300, please.
Original trilogy for 300. This large creature proved to be a bad place to land the Millennium Falcon in The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
This is a hand
You
my
can
card
feel the
back over.
tension.
No, oh man, I know the last syllable of it.
5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Calling it.
Yep.
Exogorth.
is
I knew it was something
the-
Gorth. I was
Yeah.
thinking Cosmogorth, but
I
no.
straight
Not to
up
be
blanked
confused
on
with
that
the
one.
Exegol.
Exegol,
Yeah,
right?
not to be confused with Exegol. Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Let's go ahead and clear out.
Hold on. Let's reset for a second. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We basically almost halfway through, and the score is Nick is at 1100 and Pete is still in the negatives at minus 100. I guess this is the time where I would like ask you guys a question, like, you know, one of those like predetermined pre-interview questions, like, so Pete, you wrote for Star Wars Galaxy magazine in the 90s. What was that like?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It was a lot of fun. It gave me the opportunity to be at the world premiere of all 3 prequels in New York City, which was an experience I'll never forget, Arda.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thanks for joining here. And Nick, what would you say is your favorite Star Wars memory?
I would say that my favorite Star Wars memory actually is being at Star Wars Celebration in Orlando in 2017. It's my first celebration to attend. I was only there for one day, drove down just for 24 hours with a good friend of mine. And the highlight of that was being at the Star Wars live stage. And this was the spring right after Carrie Fisher had passed away. And Billy Lord came out on stage in a simple white dress and recited the original "Help Me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, You're My Only Hope" speech from the first Star Wars movie. And it was just very powerful and touching to get to see this young woman who had recently lost her mother, recognizing what she meant to fans like us. And it was just really cool.
Rock on. By the way, awesome. Jordan, you rock. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
And I'm also going to throw out that I have now just been asked by Jace if we can watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. So please send me condolences, everyone. I'm probably going to suffer, but I'm going to do it anyway because I love you, Jace.
Worth it. Totally worth it.
So worth it.
We need a report. You got to report back. But you have to. I hope you have to watch it from start to finish with no break, though.
Yeah, start to finish, no break.
Yeah, just pure.
I'm gonna have a chat with me for sympathy only, but other than that, start to finish.
We may need one of those like live reaction videos as you're watching it, just your face as things keep happening.
Yeah, live tweet it. Let's see what's going on. Yeah. Oh, man.
All right, who's was it Pete? I think Pete's still on the.
It's Nick.
It's this guy. And
so we got a bunch of 500 still on the board, and then a smattering for the rest. Where are you going?
Let's go ahead and clear out the category for original trilogy with 200.
Original trilogy.
I don't know how to do the Jeopardy sound, but this is a double Jeopardy. So how many points do you want to risk there, Nick?
Ooh.
Oh, Alexa,
I didn't figure out how to do the actual sound effects, so you get
that'll work.
All right, let's go with 500, please.
Ooh.
500. All right.
Who shot first in the? Oh, this is going to be controversial. Who shot first in the original edition of A New Hope?
Who is Han Solo? The one and only correct answer.
Yes.
No.
It was actually Han. I don't know why I put Greedo. So yes, Nick, you are correct.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, it was Han, right?
Yeah, it was.
So that's there.
We don't
this is me at 5 a.m. not
edition.
knowing what I'm typing at this point.
So this is Greedo's revenge. Actually, Greedo from beyond the grave decided to mess with trivia and say, "No, this is my time." So,
all right, Nick is
so Nick,
here.
what is Nick at right now? 1,600.
Oh my god! All right,
well, you might have to sweep the rest of the board, man.
It's the only chance I have.
We're gonna give Pete a chance to play his way back in here. Let's go with sequel trilogy for 500.
Oof.
Sequel trilogy 500. Star Killer Base was built from this planet.
Oh.
Hold on. Oh my god.
They have it on the tip of their tongue. You can see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there.
And I'm trying not to look at the chat because people are having fun putting answers in the chat.
I don't even have it up because
I'm gonna close it. Good answer.
They're all gonna want a LaMail after this.
Okay, chat is
time's up.
Nope.
KG's got it right. Ilum is correct.
I tried to give you a little hint there with a LaMail, but you know what? That's okay.
All right.
By the way, Matthew with the chirp. Time for the mercy rule.
we 10 random.
If this was a little league game, we would call it
mercy rule.
Nick, where to next?
Let's go TV shows for 500.
TV shows 500. These 3 Clone Wars battles featured prominently in Ahsoka's flashbacks with Anakin in the world between worlds.
3? There were 3?
Pete's eyes lit up there.
I thought there were 2.
I mean, at this point, might as well just take a stab at it, right?
Yeah, but I have no idea what the third one is. That's the problem.
Okay,
I like that Pete doing the math. Look at him right now. Math. He's literally
I'm
like
really like trying to
he's like carry the 2, multiply by 7.
Nope.
All right, Ant. Battle of Teth, Battle of Ryloth, Battle of Mandalore.
Teth was the one I couldn't get.
Yeah, all I had was Mandalore.
Nobody remembers Teth.
Nobody remembers Teth.
All right, let's keep it going. Let's go TV shows for 100, please.
TV shows 100. This beloved clone captain followed Anakin Skywalker through many battles.
Oh, come on.
Pete got it first.
Yes, it's got to be who is Captain Rex?
Rex.
Pete, you're back out of the negative. All right.
All right. I'm at 0. I'm at 0. Thank you so much. In an effort to keep things going in a positive direction, I'm going to go prequels for 100.
Prequels for 100. This droid fixed the shield on the Queen's ship in The Phantom Menace. Pete again, barely.
Who is R2-D2?
Correct.
Absolutely. Pete, you're in the positive.
A well put together little droid.
Well,
Captain Panaka might say.
You are very close. If this was NBA Jam, you'd be on fire. Like you'd literally be dunking from half court.
Does that mean like if I ask for a 400, it can be worth 1,400 at this point?
Jordan, is there another daily double on the board?
There is, and it might pop up at any point.
Ooh, right. Okay.
I'm gonna go prequels for 400. Yes.
Oh, all right.
I gotta give them both a daily double. So Pete, this is your shot.
I gotta go with $100 because that's all I got. So let's do it.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Before you do that, wait. Before you do that, I think technically you can do 500, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
you can do up
even
to 500,
if and
it'll take you back down to -4 if you miss it.
All right. Well, I got to do 5 then. This is my only help me, Arda Öcal. You're my only hope. Here we go.
All right. Let's see your question. This Wookiee carried Yoda on his back in Revenge of the Sith.
Come on, Pete.
Who is Tarful?
Ooh,
it's close, right?
The reveal. Chewbacca.
Chewie did it? Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was his. See, I thought that was too obvious. All right, that's fine. That's fine. My ass is kicked. I'm fine with that.
It's okay. You can still pull this out.
Really?
I mean, if you get
run the board,
if you get both the 500s and the 400s, you can do this.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll take prequels for 5.
Prequels for 5. Here's what we got: the name of the Trade Federation control ship in The Phantom Menace.
Oh man.
I don't think they're gonna get this one.
Yeah,
I should know it because I did my fan fiction novelization of it and I named it and I can't remember. I pulled the name. I went to freaking Wikipedia to get the name of this thing 4 or 5 years ago. No, I don't have it.
Do we give them a first letter just to see if they can figure it out?
Initials are VP.
Yeah, no.
It's 2 words. First starts with a V and the second with P.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Call it Vuten Pala.
Nope. No chance.
No, I never would have remembered that.
Vuten Pala.
All right. Well, holiday special.
You still got the board. You still got control of the board.
Holiday special for 400.
Holiday special 400. The basic name for the song Allez Lu Ta Nuv.
Shout out to my buddy Brandon Ray over at Fandom for coming up with this one. When we were at Connect last year, we did a Star Wars trivia session, and he absolutely kicked all of our asses on this one. Most of us are sitting there at the table just thinking, we don't know what this is, and he just got it.
I'm going with
Pete.
I'm going with what is good night but not goodbye?
Incorrect.
That was a good guess.
Yeah, it's the only song on there.
Nick?
Oh.
I didn't
ignore it. Don't look.
That's okay. I wasn't going to have it anyhow.
All right, we got 4 more clues on the board.
All right.
Funny enough, the one you did guess there, Pete, that was almost one of the questions was what was the name of that song. But then Brandon popped up with that one. I'm like, I got to throw that in.
Yeah, that was a much better choice, Jordan.
So glad you did that.
Let me go with TV shows for 300. I don't even know if I can get out of negatives.
TV shows for 300. This is Chopper's best friend. Pete.
I'm going to say Ezra. Who is Ezra Bridger?
No, that's a great guess, though. That is a terrific guess. Nick?
5 seconds.
I don't have it.
No. The answer is AP5.
Oh, the fact you had that ready to go. That's
I should have had that one.
Ezra's a great guess, though.
I think so. I mean, do we really know? Did Chopper have any friends? I don't think he did. I think that I would fight that question. I'm not sure the Chopper is.
That's a fair point. Chopper should be standing trial for war crimes.
I mean, he's only killed like 50,000 people.
That's it.
Give or take. Right out of the ship.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Do we give him half points for the guess?
No, it's fine. Sequels for 4.
Sequels for 4. This constable served as the lawman at Nima Outpost on Jakku. Nick.
Who is Constable Zuvio?
Correct.
Yes.
Zuvio is the right answer.
I kind of hint dropped that one earlier, and I'm hoping somebody picked up on it.
We got 2 clues left.
Let's hit Holiday Special 500.
Holiday Special 500. Chewbacca's father was carving this toy for Lumpy in the Holiday Special.
Come on, Pete. You're an expert on the Holiday Special here. You got.
I wouldn't say expert. Nope. I'm apparently not an expert on anything Star Wars.
Nick?
I'm going to take a guess. What is an X-Wing?
X-Wing is correct.
Actually, yes.
Wow.
Well done.
I felt like I could see it in my head, but I wasn't.
Did not think anyone was going to get that.
That's terrific.
I could see it in my head, but I didn't know if it was like it's like the silver leg. Was it real? Did it really happen? Let's clear it out. Sequel trilogy 100.
The formality question here. This gambling city was the location of a high-stakes escape in The Last Jedi. Nick.
What is Canto Bite?
Canto Bite is correct. The Fathier races.
All right. Now, just to make this fun, because this is proper Jeopardy style.
Oh, yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
I need you to keep them occupied for a couple of minutes, and I'm going to find a question for Final Jeopardy. It's going to be something that's...
And we're going to allow Pete to participate and bet whatever he wants.
Yes.
You guys, let's just throw that rule out the window. And Pete, you can bet $1 million if you want. It doesn't matter.
You keep them occupied talking about themselves for a couple of minutes.
All right. Nick, how do you feel about your performance here in Star Wars trivia?
I feel like I did okay. There are a couple that I feel like I should have come up with, but I'm under the bright lights. There's a lot of pressure trying to make sure I do a good job. You do the best you can. I'm gonna pull up the chat here for a minute. We've got a bunch of folks commenting, and I had it closed, so I didn't see the answers.
KG was on point for a lot of the answers. I was following along here.
Look at her.
Lots says Chopper is innocent of all wrongdoings. That's debatable.
See, she's my partner, so I kind of have to back her up on that, even though I feel like he's actually
Jace is Okay.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take pity at this point. I'm fine with it.
It's the second best prize besides victory.
All right, so I've picked something that's I'm kind of because I know I've talked to both of you about this in the past when I've been on with you guys.
Okay.
Let's see if you remember this from Monsters and Aliens by George Lucas.
All right, is this where I need my dry erase board so I can write down my?
Yes, you are both going to need a dry erase board or a slip of paper or something you can write on.
Okay.
All right.
And I guess I need to. Do we go ahead and write our wager on there too?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
All right. So, all members of a family residing on this terrestrial astronomical object maintained miniature farms in their mouths, which help provide them with sustenance. The farm in the mouth of one member of the family contained fields of alfalfa, chicken coops, and a complex irrigation system. What is the name of this terrestrial astronomical object? Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
I don't know if you want to sing that too much. We don't want to get a copyright strike on YouTube.
Right.
I mean, I feel like it's off. You know,
you've cut it.
Not going to get picked up.
All right, I got my answer.
All right.
All right. So why don't we go Pete has negative 1100. Let's start with him.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I said, what is, who the hell knows this?
Yep.
Is that right?
26. Well, Jordan's clearly does, but 2600. So that will bring him to negative 3700.
Nice.
All right.
That's a high score right there, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like
Nick who has Denture City, right beside Cloud City, the forgotten city. What did you wager?
600.
600.
Right. That keeps you
congratulations to Nick. He wins. Before we celebrate, what was the correct answer, Jordan?
The correct answer to this was Argo 6. And I'll give you the quote for it. This was from the Galactic Gossip. A molecular dentist on Argo 6 performing a routine molar cracking uncovered a tiny but complex farm in the mouth of one of her patients. I feel like this makes everyone uncomfortable.
I mean, Denture City is a good guess then. It's not bad.
I feel like Sean Connery on the SNL version of Who's Your Mom?
Dolly Parton.
I'll take the rapist for 200. Well, I think it's time we share this.
Oh no, revoked.
I've lost my fan card.
Now, did you make one for Nick as well, or
I did because I didn't know he was going to beat me by 5,700 points.
I mean, this is a pretty lopsided victory, Nick. You're going to have bragging rights for. I mean, I thought it was going to be months. It could be a whole year.
This is a year's worth of.
Don't worry, we'll do this again.
So the real question now, Pete, is. How does this affect the baseball bet as far as my point?
I think we have to go to the $20 version because there's just no way. Because we had it set for like $1 per 10 points, and at this point, I'd have to like sell my car, and I'm not willing to do that.
We're gonna call it 20.
I see some nice helmets in the back of your shelf there. You could send my way, Pete. So we can help you out here.
Oh, I'm never sending you anything again after these questions, Jordan. You
know what? That's fair. You know what? I'm never going to be allowed back on here again.
Jordan, it was nice talking to you. You're gone.
Good to see my friends.
Good job, Nick. Congrats. You know what? I feel like sort of around the horn style. Oh, that's nice. That's beautiful. we should give him a minute to just revel in
my
this.
60 seconds of around.
Yeah, like take a minute. I'm gonna start a countdown, and then I'll just cut you off unceremoniously. But you should go full screen. Take a minute and just whatever you want to say. The time is yours because you earned it.
Okay. He gets a minute to celebrate the love.
That's right.
Exactly.
So we're just going to jump right in. Philly suck. Sorry. Hate it. Bryce Harper, pound sand, just that's what happens. But I feel confident in the Braves. We're going to get some things going in the second half. Pete, whatever. You tried. Good effort out of you. What else? Star Wars, man. Star Wars is fun. I hope we keep having fun with Star Wars. I hope we continue to fight for the things we love and enjoy what's going on out in the Star Wars universe, social media. There's cons going on. If anybody's going to be at Dragon Con in Atlanta over Labor Day weekend, come holler at me. I'll be there. What else? It's fun to have fun on Thursday nights. It's fun to be with friends like Arda and Jordan and everybody in the live chat. Running it down. Benny, Brian, Jace, Jasmine, Laurel, KG, Matthew. I saw Eric in here earlier. Mary Ann. Who else? JD was in here. All of our friends, people that we love. So I'm going to use the rest of my time to do what I do best. Raise my glass again to everybody. Loads of fun. Cheers.
That was actually 1 minute and 5 seconds, but you were being nice to people, so I didn't want to cut you off.
That's it. No more niceness.
You know what? I like what Jay said in the comments there. Hey,
no, I didn't. We don't have to pull that up. We don't have to pull that up. Jace is what I like to call loud wrong. I learned that from my favorite Tony Kornheiser.
I love it.
As Benny Rope says, the pocket watch stays in Alabama. That makes sense. Right. And that's all right. That's good.
I love it.
Well, Arda and Jordan, thank you guys so much for helping embarrass me here on Hopefully you saw
Arda, I don't think either of us are ever being invited back on.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
this is my final. Like the second time I came on, I was like thinking maybe a 5-timer blazer jacket. Like I'm done at 4. Like that's it.
You got close. Now. You got so close.
Yeah. I'm out. See you later.
It's like Tiger.
Pete can't make it one week, and Nick's like secretly hoarding us back in for special episodes. And like,
it's like Tiger Woods. We were all sure he was going to break that major record, and then one day we all said, "It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen for him." But no, seriously, this was a ton of fun. This was really cool. This was a great way to do things. And Arda, I will be in touch. I will come to New York very soon, and we'll get together. And I do have some Star Wars Galaxy magazines for you, and
the right ones, not the funny enough, I actually have another one that you are also not in. So like I have 2 of them.
I'll give you props for trying that was a good effort.
I have 2 of them that do not have you in them, which is like such a fail.
Well, the fail is that I wasn't in them. That's the problem. I should have been in them all.
What awful research by me.
No.
Thanks, boys. Yeah, this was fun, Pete. We'll talk soon.
Jordan,
all right, man.
good
to see you, my friend.
Always good to see you,
Nick,
my friends.
Congrats, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Congrats on the win. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about this week's Acolyte. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. Well, we're back. We are talking about hi, Nick. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to catch you off guard there.
Don't mind me.
We're talking Acolyte. We're seriously, you congratulations. And by the way, you're going to need that $20 because now, as a result, you're up by $2. And for $2, I'm sure I can find maybe a pencil sharpener or something.
It's going to be. I can tell you right now. It's going to be the Jar Jar tongue lollipop missing the tongue. That's what it's going to
be. Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, let's talk about the Acolyte a little bit. We have about 15 minutes left in the show tonight. First of all, thank you to everybody who hung out with us. Thank you to everybody who participated in the chat. I probably should have watched the chat. So I had a chance at getting some of those answers right. Man, those were tough questions. Note to self: never ask somebody who has a history with Wikipedia to do questions for you ever again. But no, we love Jordan. Nick, let's talk a little bit about this week's Acolyte, because it's the first time. And correct me if you disagree, or don't correct me. Tell me if you disagree. It seems like this is the first week where people who are ardent protectors of the Star Wars faith, if you will, have been on social media, myself included, talking about, hey, you know what? Here's what this show is missing. And here, like finding and not looking for negatives, not nitpicking, not throwing the grifter sort of mindset against this show, but really saying, like, speaking up again about what they think this show needs. Have you noticed that as well?
I agree. And I think it's the difference in, like, I think this is the first week we've seen some actual critique coming out of it, as opposed to, like you said, just the generic, complaints about, woke Disney Star Wars and, there's too many women. And this was the first time that we've seen kind of a broad spectrum of, this is what I didn't like about it in a more measured way.
Yep.
And there's room for that. And we've said that many, many, many times on this show, which is you're allowed to not like things. You're allowed to have issues with it. Where we've always run into an issue is when people are hateful or when they're assholes and, not having a basis or a founding behind whatever that thought is. Because I felt the same way. I've enjoyed the series so far. I don't know that I'd go so far as to say this is my favorite of all the TV series. I enjoy it. But this episode, for me, it kind of revealed to me, there's not a lot. I've seen a whole bunch of writing, it's bad writing. It's bad writing. I don't think it's bad writing. I think that's an easy throwaway thing.
Sure. And it's usually coming from people who aren't writers, by the way. Right. Yeah.
I feel my personal feeling is the issue is pacing. Pacing and episode length is what's causing me to have issues with this.
Yep.
It needs more time. Or it needs to do some things. I think you were the first person I actually saw that posted this on social media. But episode 3 and this episode could have been rolled in together as one. And I know part of the point was to show both sides of this experience. But you could do that in one episode. We've seen plenty of, Kurosawa style, saw this part, then saw this part. Like we've seen that in TV shows. Lost has done that kind of stuff, with flashbacks and whatnot. So I think that it could have been combined, but this was the first episode out of the whole series that I need to rewatch it so I can talk about it tonight. And I wasn't motivated to rewatch it. I just super wasn't interested.
Right.
And now I'm worried about how much needs to get done next week and how long are we going to get to do that?
Right. And I think, honestly, the worst thing that has happened to this show is the fact that it's running congruently with House of the Dragon. Right. And again, obviously very different shows, very different, productions, etc. But when I watch House of the Dragon and I see a 55-minute episode that allows things to breathe, that gives you moments of just the camera sitting on a character who thinks about something or is dealing, there's a lot going. And let me be very clear. I think this is the best story of any of the live action Star Wars stuff that we've seen on Disney Plus, better than Andor. And I love Andor as a great show, but we know where it's going. It's a really good, see you later, Jordan. Thank you so much, buddy. We see we know where Andor was going. And I thought Andor was fantastic, but I think this story has so much more impact on Star Wars as a galaxy, as a place to tell the story. But I feel like these 35 to 43 minute episodes are killing them. And again, it's not, look, a lot of people are like, give me more Star Wars. And I get that. And I would love to see that, but that's not why I want these to be longer episodes. I want them to be longer episodes so that they can deliver better. And yes, I agree. I said it, number 3 and number 7 could have been one good episode. Number 1 and number 2 could have been one very good episode. And again, I think for some reason, Lucasfilm has mandated that they need to be 8 episodes of a series. And what we're getting as a result is either stretching stuff out. I've said it 100 times before, and it will be the hill that I die on. I think that, and it's not just Star Wars. I think it's also the MCU series as well. And some other series, writing and creating an 8-part story in streaming week to week is a skill set. It's an art form that hasn't been fully developed yet.
Correct.
And it's surprising because I think Leslie Headland, who did an amazing job with Russian Doll, I haven't watched the second season of Russian Doll, but I feel like you could almost sense that the hands are tied,
right,
for whatever reason. And it was an expensive show too, so there's not an excuse for budget either. So
right. Well, and I'd love to, and we need to figure out when we could do this. I'd love to talk to our friend Greg Iwinski about this, because I've heard some of this conversation before, and I think there's something to be said for a writer's room over 8 episodes versus a single writer writing 8 episodes. I also think that, and I've got somebody up here that I starred, I think Luke said, they have to stop fitting these shows into strict 6, 8, 10 episode structures. A bunch of the talk that I have seen online in the last day or two, and I don't disagree with, is it's become an industry standard, like you were saying. 8 episode, 8-episode Marvel show, 8-episode this. And we may get a second season. Otherwise, we call it a limited series and we walk away from it.
Right.
But the thing is, we saw Game of Thrones episodes. I think they were all 12 and 13 episodes, except for the last season. And one of my biggest critique with Game of Thrones, for as much as people didn't like how it ended, was I said, I didn't mind how it ended. It needed 3 to 4 more episodes to get to that ending. It needed to flesh it out and give it more time. They were running to get to the end. And we live in a world now where these actors and these creatives have the next project lined up and they're on deadlines and so they're rushing to get things done. Yeah. But we grew up in the, 70s and 80s and 90s and 2000s. My favorite TV show of all time is The West Wing. They did 7 seasons, 22 episodes a season, and it was an hour-long network TV. So when you take the commercials out, it's 45 minutes. 22 episodes a season. That's unheard of now. Like, we don't have anything.
24 is 24 episodes.
Correct.
And again, it's not even, to me, it's that, not the number of episodes. I think it's the length of these episodes, because never before have I felt more like they were like, okay, here's the story. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know. Let me do the math real quick. It's a 5-hour story, but we're going to chop here, and we're going to chop here, and we're going to stop it here, and we're going to stop it there. And I think it's really hurting this show. And I love the idea of sort of what I've loved. The best part about it has been the show ends, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait till next week now.
Yep.
But honestly,
somebody
after
else said it up here, and you said it early on. This is the one that should have been released all at once. This is the one that we should have been able to binge it.
Yep.
Because I think it would have held up a little bit differently if you could go ahead and jump in to
what's better yet. And I've been thinking about this a lot since I made some of my posts yesterday. This would have benefited from being a Netflix style major motion picture.
Right.
Disney Plus presents a Star Wars movie. Make this a 2.5-hour movie. And this works really well, right? Do sort of a, kind of a Pulp Fiction kind of thing. Bring the story back around and show the different things and spend that $180 million on one really good movie instead of forcing it into, and honestly, I said it last week, Nick, you heard me say it. I've posted it on Twitter. It's so important that this show lands the plane. And honestly, my confidence level is really low, and that sucks going into the finale.
All right, so Matt says this: there's no way to tie a bow on this season in a 35-minute finale.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%, Matt.
I know you agree. Here's my question to you: what's the minimum number of minutes you need for this to have a good wrap up next week?
Well, okay,
realistically,
so
obviously.
I mean, it's a good question, because if you could tell the story in 10 minutes, great, right? I think realistically, it needs to be a 55-minute thing, because it needs to tell. Leslie Headland has said in a recent article that we're going to find out in this episode where the twins came from.
Right.
We need to find out what Chymere's story is. The other problem I had, why is my camera all blurry? It's like it's a direct correlation to the amount of alcohol I've had to drink tonight.
It's your beer goggles, not ours.
Right. How is that working? That's so cool. The big problem with this show, in my opinion, and I'd love your thoughts on this, Nick, is I don't know who the show's about. I have no idea who the show is. Is it Saul's story? Right. Is it May's story? Is it Osha's story? Is it May and Osha together? Is it The Stranger? Is it Chymere's story? I have no idea. And I think, that was when I used to review and talk about the things I didn't like about the prequels, is episode 1, whose story is that?
Right.
It's nobody's. And that's the problem with this show. This is nobody's story. It's lore building, and it's a cool story. Like I said, it's my favorite story of all the live action Disney Plus stuff. But it's so, how are you going to tie up a story with 4 protagonists potentially in a 43-minute episode, which is what it's going to be. It's going to be 43 minutes. That's my prediction right here. 43 minutes, and it's not going to nail it.
Absolutely. Well, let's do this. I agree. Oh, sorry, I missed it somewhere in here.
Whoops. Sorry. I just
quit hitting the button, Pete.
Stop touching things.
Andrew says, I really enjoyed the episode. And I would love to highlight that too, because yes, I have some critiques. I have some issues. I wish it was paced a little bit differently, but I'm still enjoying it. And I think you are too. So let me ask you that question, Pete. What did you enjoy in this episode? What were the parts that you dug?
Honestly, I loved, I in hindsight, I love that it tied directly to it showed a different perspective of episode 3. I thought it was a really cool episode. I loved a lot of it. The Wookiee going full on.
Yes.
What is it? Mad Claw, I think is the official term of when a Wookiee goes crazy. I loved that. I loved, Mother Anastasia, doing her thing. I loved seeing that May was driven by the dark side of the Force by Mother Core. I loved so much of this episode. Yes. At the same time, though, it didn't feel complete to me, and so I can't tell you what I. It's harder for me to tell you what I didn't like about it, but it's my least favorite episode. It's kind of a strange perspective.
Yeah, and I like this too. Luke says, "I like seeing that neither side was right or wrong," and that's a great point because we spend. There's a great article that was in Collider yesterday. I think Maggie Lovett wrote, talking about this. It kind of created some controversy about are the Jedi bad? And I think we had this question. This question's been around for a long time. Certainly episodes, 1, 2, and 3, the fall of, the Jedi, the rise of the dark side, the Sith, that kind of thing. It's not that the Jedi as a whole are bad. It's that people are flawed. And you've got people like Soul who's dealing with different things. And, there's perspective there. And there's two sides to every story. And you've got Indara, who up to this point has been one of the sketchiest people in the show. But now you're sitting there going, maybe she's trying to keep everybody in line. Like it is, where are we? And I think that's part of what Leslie Headland does bring to this is you're never quite sure where the steady footing is.
Right. Yeah. And so this is the problem with the show, right? Listen, and this is, let's take out all the really shitty takes coming from people who are literally making money on this show by being jerks. And I could list them here, but I'm not gonna because I shouldn't, and I won't. But there are enough people who are making money on this for the wrong reasons. And yes, there's the argument that it's poorly written. That's not what it is. No, there are people who are saying that it's being driven by diversity and inclusion. That's not what it is at all. What is hurting this show is the pacing, and to me, it's the direction and the editing. I think again, look, people are like, well, maybe they have to squeeze it down. A 45-minute episode is edited down from an hour and 5 minutes minimum. Right. So there were shots that weren't used. There were pieces that weren't used to make this work. That, again, watch an episode of House of the Dragon. And I mean, what works so well with first episode, season 2, I won't give spoilers, but I will say first episode, season 2, House of the Dragon, I was like, oh, this is going kind of slow. And then the last 10 minutes, and I was like, whoa. And there needs to be more of that. And there can be. And for some reason, Star Wars live action television feels very small. And in the case of this show, they shot on location in many cases. But it still feels very small. And I think that's part of the problem with this as well. We need that big. I mean, you could go watch House of the Dragon in a movie theater. You could go watch 3 Body Problem in a movie theater. You could probably even watch, I don't watch it, but my wife has Bridgerton in a movie theater. And it feels like it should be there. When I watch this show, as much as I love the story, it's 2 people on the screen. It's 5 people on the screen on a set. And it just doesn't have that grandiose that we need for Star Wars. And I think we're all, as a fandom, waking up to this concept that we need Star Wars in a much bigger thing. And here's the thing. It doesn't need to be a movie, but it needs to feel bigger.
Right.
Yes, Brian, and I watched it with you. Yes, I agree.
Well, I started to throw that at you before he said that. But so let me ask you this then as a follow-up or a corollary to that thought. We need Star Wars to feel bigger. We need it to be How does that bode, do you think, for the Skeleton Crew? Obviously, we don't have any idea yet what's coming, but this is going to be the next live action TV series, and it's going to be focused on kids, and it's going to be do we think we're going to get more of that same small feeling? Do we think that we're going to, and we don't know, because obviously cinematography has a lot to say about this.
Sure.
What mediums they use. I don't know how much they'll use the volume for, Skeleton Crew. I haven't looked into all that, but overall, is it major league and minor league? Our TV shows minor league baseball, and the movies are, the big show and the MLB. Like,
well, somebody said it today. Somebody said that, I need a full meal. When I watch Star Wars, I need a full meal. And then my retweet was, Disney television series have become the tapas of Star Wars, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of, Jasmine, that is a great point. Bad Batch did feel much bigger than the Acolyte. It really did. It felt more galactic in scale, etc. But, and I'm going to contradict myself here, and this is why I think Skeleton Crew is destined to be great if you don't listen to the assholes online. My son, 11 years old, he has loved every single episode of The Acolyte. It's the first show. I mean, he liked Ahsoka, but it's the first show since Bad Batch and Clone Wars and the second season of Mandalorian where he has said, is tonight the night The Acolyte comes on.
Right.
So this is the show that he is excited about. So it's working for him. And I think Skeleton Crew will work as well. The other thing to keep in mind with Skeleton Crew is you have Leslie Headland has never done a movie.
Right.
Neither has Dave Filoni. And those are the shows. Neither has who was the woman who did Book of Boba Fett. Oh no, well that's not true because no, she's the Kenobi woman because Book of Boba Fett was what's his name? The guy who did El Mariachi and
Guillermo. I mean, yeah, I know, not Guillermo del Toro.
That guy, yeah. But it's so that might kill my theory. However, we have the group that did, what was it? Was it the Spider-Man movie? One of the Spider-Man movies doing Skeleton Crew. And the other big thing, the other huge thing, is it's Jude Law.
Yes,
you have a major motion picture actor,
right,
in this series. I think Skeleton Crew is going to be the best of the shows.
Yeah. And
I think it's because, Nick, you and I have talked about this before. There's so many Star Wars shows where you're like, do I need that story? And you're like, holy shit, that was amazing. And I think Skeleton Crew is going to be that. And I think, and again, and that's why maybe that's why as a fandom we're starting to feel a little bit disappointed in The Acolyte, because the story is so good and Leslie Headland is telling such a great story. But nobody's able to kind of focus on it. And as simple as The Mandalorian was, it worked because you could focus on it. You could pull yourself into the story. Even season 3. Yeah. If you didn't love season 3, at least you were on the ride. Acolyte is tough to get on that ride. You know what I mean? So
I was looking back through here. Here's what Marianne said. Part of what was so great about early Mando was that it felt organic. Episode length was up to each director. And I think that's a great point. Just the organic nature of it overall. We get Carl Weathers. We get, we know Pedro, is a part of it, but we're not getting big name, star power. And not that the actors in Acolyte have done a bad job, because another one of the throwaway, I think, unfounded critiques have been, oh, it's poorly acted. I really don't think it has been. I think that it might be that you just need someone else to help you sell it. I mean, Carrie-Anne Moss is no slouch. Lee Jung-jae has done a great job.
Oh, he's been fantastic. Yeah,
he's done some of the best non-vocal acting that I've seen in a while.
Oh my gosh,
the look on his face, the emotion. Like Amandla is doing a fantastic. Like, I like the people that they've got in this, but it's just going to be interesting to see. And it may be that this is what we face every time a TV show comes out: is, oh, it's not the same. And no, it's not the same. It's in a TV show in your house. It's not in a movie theater, which is why Pete's idea of put these up every Wednesday night for $5 at your local movie theater makes sense. But they don't ask us our opinion, so
they could. But what's interesting too, and I think maybe this is part of the problem. The director of episode, I was looking it up while you were talking. The director of episodes 3 and 7, which were super critical stories in this show, was a South Korean filmmaker named Kogo Nada. and he's known for video essays that analyze content. He's never done this kind of thing, and I think it shows. Right? Again, I think these are great. I think those stories were really, really good. But maybe it's the wrong guy doing it. And no offense, I mean, because look, obviously
I can't do it.
I can't do it. So,
right.
But you look at some of the stuff, and again, even like Dave Filoni, and this has been kind of my critique as well, is every Disney live action show other than Andor has had the pacing of animation, and that's a bit of an issue, I think, as well.
There needs to be a little bit more of a transition. It feels like.
Yeah, and I think, I think, look, I'm not going to get on the Kathleen Kennedy train or anything like that, but I will say that maybe Star Wars needs to assess how you tell your stories, because whether there were the stupid complaints about Andor, from the bricks and screws kind of opinions of it, but Andor felt like a Star Wars movie every week. It felt, and that's why it is one of the most rewatchable of all the Star Wars shows. Right. I think the first season of The Mandalorian, because we didn't know about the volume when we watched The Mandalorian,
right? And
we bought it. We bought that illusion. I think the worst thing that happened is telling us about the volume.
Yeah, because then we started looking for the volume.
Right. And we saw it all over Kenobi. And I think that was part of the issue. But I think we're in a situation where I think The Acolyte is a really good story. I think it's got potential. I really hope, and Leslie Headland has said that this is not the case, so I'm confident in this going into next week. This can't be a setup for season 2 like Ahsoka was.
Right.
Ahsoka's biggest failure was not finishing that story.
Yeah.
That was its biggest failure.
Because as of now, we don't have a confirmed season 2, and so it's just hanging out there.
Right. Much like the end of Rebels, right? And that's a Filoni thing, perhaps.
Yeah.
If this show can land the plane, and I said it to my friend Rick Shue, who we have to have on the show sometime, but right now he's dealing with the hurricane leftovers in Texas. I said if they don't land this plane, it's a big problem for Star Wars television. And again, I totally discount the people who are going into this complaining about diversity and inclusion. That's a stupid place to start your argument. However, there is so much riding on doing the story right. They've put so much out there that the fans of the lore, my son, if this show ends and my son still is like, well, what happened to this person? What happened to that person? What happened to this?
Yep.
It's going to fail for him because there is no guaranteed season 2, and there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thoughts on this.
I mean, we're going to find out next week. We've got one more left.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, who's our guest next week?
I was just about to say, as we are wrapping up all the fun we've had this evening, I do want to say thank you again for all of you hanging out in the chat with us. It's been so fun to see your comments, to be a part of your conversation with
some new people in there tonight.
Tons of new
Mary
people
Ann,
in here.
KG.
So glad to have all of you. You're
Andrew
welcome
came
back anytime. So yeah, next week we're going to be back. We are absolutely going to be talking about the finale of The Acolyte, and we're going to be joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, the host of Coffee with Kenobi, Mr. Dan Zier, is going to be joining us. If you know Dan Z, if you've kept up with Coffee with Kenobi over the years, a wonderful, wonderful man, great representative of the Star Wars community. And he's been, I think, on our shows individually, but we haven't had a chance to have him on in a while. So I'm excited to hear his thoughts and hear what he's hearing from his folks about Acolyte and the end of it as well.
Absolutely. It's and again, as we go into the Acolyte, I think it's important, as we go into the finale, it's important to remember the words of Mr. Snap Wexley.
Do me a personal favor, be optimistic.
Yes, ma'am. This is terrific. You're not going to believe how well this is going to turn out. It's going to be great.
Again, I said it last time we played that clip. Knowing Greg Grunberg like we do now, that is the most Grunberg.
Grunberg.
You could watch any movie that Greg is in, you will not get more Greg Grunberg than that little 8 seconds of glory. But Nick, yes, this was a lot of fun. I'm very disappointed that now my Phillies are going to have to beat you by more than 20 games for me to be able to make up for it. But
in fairness, 10 games to get you that other $10, the other $20.
That's right. But as long as we continue to be the best team in baseball, things are going to be just fine. One more time for posterity. I look forward to all of my all the people who say they don't follow me on social media, but do, pulling that out and saying I don't have a fan card anymore and I'm not a Star Wars fan. But that's
nice try, pal.
Nice try. But Nick, this has been a blast as always. Looking forward to hanging out with you again next week. May the Force be with you.
Always.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.